Hello, this is Joe and you're watching JB TV. Today we're going to be talking about cable attachments. Why? Because cable attachments are one of the most cost-effective and space-saving ways to really spice up your training and your gym space. And each of these pieces have survived my gym purge, where I purged about 80% of my attachments. This is what you came here for. This particular video is going to be focused primarily on tricep movements. I'm splitting these body parts up into different sections of videos. That way you don't have one long video that's like 40 minutes long. Whatever type of split that you're currently doing, these video series will give you a blueprint. Let's check it out. So right now we're going to kind of show, I've got these ones. Maneuklear. They're basically just these straps, flat straps. What I really love with these ones is now you can use this to take your grip out of it. It's also long enough to the point where you can step out. So instead of a rope where you're gonna like push down, now you can essentially get the same type of feeling without having your hands. So you can do push downs. If you wanted, you could do things like face pulls, because you can just, again, grip like this and pull back. Or if you wanted to do triceps, pushing back like this. They're very versatile. I like it that it's got this cushion in here and it just takes the grip out. But what if you're like more of a traditional rope? This is by the same brand, Maneuklear. They're just one of those weird brands. Imagine a tricep rope. It's got the same braided type rope, but instead of having the two ball stoppers at the end, you just have some loops. Loop it around, takes your grip out. Why I keep this one around, this one is a little bit shorter of a rope. So if I wanted to do like a tricep push down, it feels a little bit better. And I can still grip the rope similar to how I would with a traditional tricep rope, where you grip here, but now I don't have that thing at the bottom. And it gives me really good wrist support. Or if you wanted to do like overhead triceps, holding the rope. I like this one for a lot of other movements as well. So this one I did have to jerry rig it a little bit because of the top. If you do things like storing on a wall control, imagine this is your hole. So when you stick a thing through the hole, this is going to mount sideways like this, far off. So what I did is I attached one of these little spinny guys. So now, even though the hole would be going this way, I can mount it here. So now it sits flat instead of sitting like this. It's a pretty budget piece. And if you can see right here, some of the rope is already coming off. And I've only had this for like 6 months or so. Now, I think this was only like a $20 piece. I just haven't really found any premium brands that do something like this. And here is the third. This one is from HXD-Ergo. They make a lot of these with these cool grips. The beauty of these is you have the little cutout here for your hand. You put your hand in, it wraps. So this one, even though it's got a rope style design, you're not actually gripping the rope. You're gripping this, and your palm just kind of fits like right in there. It's so nice to then go do these for triceps. If I'm imitating a tricep rope, this probably feels the best out of the three for this specific one. But this one, you can sort of do face pulls as well, but it doesn't feel as good. Your thumbs here kind of dig into the plastic a little bit. It's doable, but it doesn't feel as good. And yeah, I know my form's probably really bad, but I'm not really doing a workout right now. This one, your thumbs kind of dig in when you're doing this. You don't need just straps when it comes to triceps. Sometimes you want a flat bar. This basically replaces things like your traditional V-bar or a flat bar when I want to do triceps. It's actually called a latimus bar or something. I bought this back when it first came out. Now this thing's on like a clearance sale. Check my link. It's like 50% off right now. I don't think it's going to last forever. Mario over at 4.6 is just trying to clear these out. So by the time I upload this video, this might not even be available. But if it is, definitely check it out. I paid double what you would pay for the exact same thing. What's nice about this one is it's flat, so you can actually get a full stretch going all the way down to the bottom. A lot of V bars, when you grip them, you kind of extend and it pushes you and you kind of stop maybe right around here. But when it's flat, you can go open hand and you're not restricted to a specific angle. You can go out as far as you want, or you can go in as much as you want, just depending on how much of that muscle activation targeted area you want. I can come down, and instead of coming down here, I can keep stretching and keep stretching till my hands are all the way down. You don't even have to really grip. I just kind of curl my hands sometimes just to keep the bar, but really the force is just pushing straight down. Now the other cool thing about this bar, because it's flat, you can also do pullovers, and that's one of my favorite with this. You can really get a very full stretch. Focus. Recap. We've got the Ergo grip. We've got the Maneuklear rope, and then we've got the Maneuklear strap. These straps are also good. They can work for your ankles as well. There's more. We've also got some single arm now. Single arm isolation is probably one of my favorite. Tricep, and I've got 3. Well, I guess 2. So we do have the 4-6 Deadblow. This actually came out before the Eclipse grips, but they do have some differences, and I'll kind of show you here. If you look at the base, one is bigger, one is smaller. They have different advantages. The actual width, the Eclipse grips is thicker than the 4-6. They both have this really cool spinning eye bolt at the top, but I will say, quick Eclipse grips hack for those of you that have it or are thinking about it. This little $10 loop, it's like a Dyna loop, makes all the difference, because what will happen is with these, when you have a carabiner, it's like metal on metal and it creates a little bit of friction. But with this little like Dyna loop thing, it's like 10 bucks on Amazon. With this little thing, now you don't have the metal on metal contact, and it kind of spins a little freely. You don't get the friction. So that is a very good $10 upgrade. Oh, also, if you are looking at the Eclipse grips, specifically, Matthew Porter does make this optional leather piece. You can see what it looks like without. This one I actually have attached with like 3M. This one I had ripped it off. I was testing to see if I could, and I did, because, I'm so strong and all. But without the 3M, it's just bare. I do think that the leather, it's like 10 or 15 bucks, I think, for the upgrade. It definitely is worth the upgrade. He actually helps outsource the leather with Belt Fed Strength, who is beloved in the gym community. So this is actually the 2nd or 3rd iteration of leather that he's used. This one has a more grainy texture, and what's cool is it actually becomes a part of you as you push down into the Eclipse grip. Now, maybe I don't want to do this too much, but as you push down into the Eclipse grip, it's going to form to your hand. Like if you look here, I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but if you look here, you can actually see where like I've kind of indented and imprinted into the leather, and that's just from using the Eclipse grips over and over again. One thing I like about these is that it is so short that it doesn't hit you with a lot of torque. Maybe I'll show you first with the 4-6 actually. So on the 4-6, I keep this for a reason. So this one does have some cool uses. With the 4-6, because it's a longer handle, and I will say Mario has actually since changed this. This is like the V1. I just got a bunch of V1 products. So if anyone ever wants to send me the new improved V2 of anything you have, I'll gladly take it. But with this one, he did make the base a little smaller, and he made the shaft a little shorter. So I have an extra long one. So this one is good kind of for single-handed movements. Do like triceps one-handed. And what's neat here is if you look, so your hand can kind of rest here. You can rest it, or you can put your palm, and it's a nice surface. Now my favorite movement with this, take my tornado arm, I'll drop it down, I'll take it here. So if you see like this point where I'm stretched is right here, and then I can do French press. And if you look, I'm basically holding it like this, almost like I would a dumbbell, where you hold a dumbbell kind of with 2 hands. So here I can kind of put it, because the base is large enough, so I can really hit French press, and this feels amazing. It's like the one thing that this larger base will always win over the Eclipse grips if you're trying to imitate like a 2-handed dumbbell French press. Feels awesome. I do prefer the Eclipse grip for a lot of things. It might also be because I am 5'5" to 5'6", depending on the day, and my hands are proportionate. So I've got small hands because I'm a small person. But if you look, whenever you do any type of movement with the 4.6, what you're going to get is, because the handle is bigger, you're going to get kind of torque if you ever try to move it. So if you try to move it in a plane, you see it's kind of torquing. If you look at where this is, it's like pulling. So it makes curls or other movements with the Deadblow much harder, because imagine if you're doing like a curl, right? When I do the curl, I've got to kind of twist my arm because it's wanting to pull me this. It's kind of wanting to pull me this way. And I'll probably do a more detailed breakdown of these two, because I do think both are worth your money. But I think even just for that French press alone, the ISO Deadblow, awesome piece. Now with the regular Eclipse grips, you can see this one is a lot shorter. So if I'm pressing out, you see it's not as much torque, because the point here is much closer to my hand as opposed to being further out. And then this part right here, I'm closer to the base. So I can get more without it kind of torquing my wrist. So that's the main advantage, but I do like both. But with the Eclipse grips, to show you a little bit, there we go. So to show you a little bit, so with the Eclipse grips, because it's a single handle and because of that shorter, this feels amazing. And I can do this for like triceps. I use this for biceps. I use it for flies. I use it for shoulders. This is actually like my go-to travel handle as well, because it's light enough that it doesn't bog down your bags, and it's small enough and it's versatile enough because of this piece that spins, which, you know, the 4.6 also spins. And if the 4.6 were smaller and lighter, it would probably be my handle of choice. But if it were small and lighter, it would be an Eclipse grip. He makes all kinds of different colors, but this is just kind of show you how that doesn't torque as much on the wrist. So Eclipse grips, awesome. Highly recommend. Dynaloop, leather add-on. Honestly, either of these are great pieces. They're not budget by any means, but they will get the job done. And I'll put links to both of these. I am actually affiliate with both of these companies because they do both put out pretty good stuff. Next up on the list is going to be D handles. Now, the D handles I was thinking of saving for bicep, but D handles also can be good for triceps. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of add some of that in. These ones are one of my newer ones, which I really love. These are called the Trak Handle Sport. The handle might look a little different because this is the Darko upgrade. Now there is another one by JD Gym Equipped that you can change their handle out as well. I opted for the Darko, not just because it was a little cheaper, but it's because it was lighter. These are also my other travel handle of choice. I really love these ones because they're light and they're multi-purpose. It has bearings, so this thing can spin for days. It's nice and light, and because it's on the rope, it can actually swivel, so you can get more than just your standard D handle that's made out of like a leather strap or a cloth strap or a nylon strap. This one gives a little bit more articulating movement. For example, on a tricep, if I wanted to do straight out, I can kind of move and let the handle bend down, if you see that. And because it's a string and it's articulating, it's not necessarily digging into my wrist. Like, you'll feel some contact, but not a ton. It's not really digging in. And that's one thing I really love about these because of how they swivel. I didn't love the stock handles, and that's why I changed them out. The stock handles are just kind of a typical rubber grip. This is actually a plastic knurl, which it doesn't feel that much better than the rubber, to be honest, but it's a lot lighter and the aesthetics are pretty cool. So much so that my daughter actually loves these, and it's a toy for her. When I first got these, my daughter would not leave them alone, and I even tried to get her to play with the original Trak Handle handles, and she was not having it. She really just wanted to play with these because these are so pretty. But yeah, these are the Trak Handle Sport. These things are awesome. If you look, you can kind of do whatever you want with them. You can move these all around. If plastic's not your jam, you can always upgrade the handle to the JD Gym Equipped handle and go to town. JD Gym Equipped, they can do different like aggressive knurling patterns. It's going to make the handle a lot more heavy, but a lot more beefy. Now, when I want to go a little bit more beefy, and it's funny, I've probably got like 8 different kinds of D handles. When I want to get away from the plastic, but I still want to keep it light, these are actually the default ones that came with the GetRx tornado arms of all things. Normally, stock handles are a piece of crap. I've got stock handles from even bigger companies like Rep, and they all suck. They're usually like metal or very, very passive knurling. This one actually even looks kind of cool with the all like murdered out black look. It has enough of a spin here, and the handle has enough knurling where it feels good. It's made out of aluminum, so it is nice and light. And I'll kind of show you maybe a little closer up on this one. So you can see the knurl on here. Not crazy, but you also don't need crazy knurling for a D handle. I'll show you kind of the Darko handle, which there's the knurling pattern. It is plastic though, so it's not going to be the same. And then I'll show you my original favorite before I got those. This is the Rogue D handle. However, if you've ever seen the Rogue D handles, they normally come with a black, smaller in diameter handle. This is off their MG4CN multi-grip bar that you can buy different handles. So this was a handle off that. Since doing this hack, Rogue has actually came out with their own handle adjustment kits where you can get these handles in different colors. You can get them in like aluminum. This one is not aluminum. This thing makes this handle weigh like 2 pounds or something, which for a handle is pretty heavy. But I do love the nice beefiness of this. So I keep it around. Plus, I think it's really cool that this was one of my first YouTube videos ever, was me modifying this handle to get this nice thicker grip. And this is the stainless steel. So you can get the MG4CN in like the regular or stainless. Figured if I was going to take the time to mod this handle and get the extra pieces, I was going to go all out. So I got the stainless steel. This thing feels really good in hand. It's nice and thick because it's basically a barbell at like around 28 or 29 millimeters. So it basically feels like a barbell handle in a D handle. And it's got that nice knurling too. It can dig into your wrist with the nylon. I still find myself going to this one a lot, especially when I feel like I'm really moving some heavy weight. This really enhances that connected feel just because it does feel so nice and thick. Probably done more workouts with this one than almost any piece in my gym. So this one's got a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in it, and it's been through its own battles there. These ones are actually HXD-Ergo. They're basically like the one with the rope, but these are individual. So sometimes you're going to want to have an individual handle to do the ISO work. And same thing as the big ones, you wrap your hand around and then you can go to work. Now with this one, it does not have bearings. This is like a budget piece. So there's no bearings on the inside. So if you are trying to spin it, you can hear the friction rubbing here. I'd imagine if you wanted, you could probably stick like a rod and bearings in here and give it a smooth feel. I just have been too lazy to do that. And if you did that, it could maybe function more like a Trak handle. Because right now, if you try to move it, like say you want to twist it, like I did the Trak handle, you see it's not really doing it. It's kind of just pulling. If you're gonna not do a lot of rotating and want to just be on a singular plane of motion, that's how you're gonna do it for this. But it is nice having an ISO and having that nice little ergo. For my final trick, this was actually inspired by the I can't remember, it's called like Dyna pulley, where it's basically 2 cones. But what I did is I made my own little pulley system, and I have a lot of red accents in my gym, if you can tell. So I got a red aluminum pulley attached to all this, and I've got my red carabiners here. I'll throw my Eclipse grips on here. Cool thing about this is now I have that same type of cone extension. It's called the dually. It's just one piece. Here I was able to take my existing pieces in the Eclipse grips, and I was able to put them onto this. Cool thing is you can create any handle ends with this simple mod, and I'll put the links to these, but all I did was I had some carabiners and I grabbed the short cable and put it through this pulley. All in, this mod was, I don't know, 20 bucks maybe, 30 bucks. I can do anything. And this is essentially like a rope, but I've got these nice grips here. I've got a nice leather base to go to, and I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. I could even do chops if I wanted to. You know, I could work on some lightsaber moves if I wanted to. I could do whatever I want with this attachment. If you wanted to do, say, bicep curls, this can do that. So if you wanted to use curls, just change your angle and go to town. This is an awesome, versatile piece. Again, I'll put all the links to all this down in the description. Keep in mind also, I am an Amazon affiliate. Any purchases you make with my links do help out the channel. Say you wanted to do your own setup with Rogue. So you got your Rogue D handles and you think, I want to do this instead for your little dually setup. You can do that. And you can still use it how you want. You can do it with any handles. And that wraps up my tricep extensions breakdown. Come back next time. We'll focus on the other side of the arm with biceps. And as always, take care, lift heavy, and I'll see you next time.